Okay. I think we can start. We will start early today. So, Atma Namaste, everybody. Today's flow of session is like we will first understand you as a person, like who are you before pranic healing? What was your personality? We'll spend 5-10 minutes to understand your mindset before pranic healing. And after that, definitely we'll understand your pranic healing journey. And the purpose of this session is to get more clarity. People who are serious about taking pranic healing as a career, while listening to your story, we may get some clarity. That's the objective of this session. Okay. So again, one more thing. You all the questions are like maybe impromptu, and you're allowed to not answer some of the questions if you don't want to. Absolutely fine. And if I ask something and something else you wanted to say, go with flow. Go with flow.
Thank you.
Go with flow.
Good to know we are following the basic pranic healing rules. You're
Mm.
allowed to draw your own conclusions, say your own thing.
Yes. It happened in previous session as well, and I said like, don't bother about the questions. Go with flow. No problem.
That's the best way. Agree.
7 o'clock. Please guide us with Arahatik or normal invocation, and then we'll take it forward.
Okay, welcome everybody, and thank you, Chabi, for having me over. And let's invoke. Be aware of your heart. Connect your tongue to the palate and be aware of your crown chakra. Let's be aware of the presence of the blessings of the Guru, we know as Grandmaster Chua Kok Sui. His presence in our life, his blessings in our life. Let's express gratitude to the Supreme God, Divine Father, Divine Mother, the source of all light, fountain of love, source of all healing energies, source of all wisdom, source of all inner power. We thank you for your blessings of divine light, divine love, divine guidance, love and mercy, deep inner healing, inner strength to do what is right, to refrain from unwholesome actions and behaviors. We especially invoke for the blessings that we may regularly and joyfully do our arhatic practices. Thank you for your guidance, help, and protection, prosperity, abundance, illumination, divine oneness, and divine bliss. As we gather today as one group, as one ashram, we thank you, Lord God, for this gathering. To beloved and respected Guruji, Grandmaster Chua Kok Sui, to his Guru, Lord Mahaguruji Mele, and all the great ones, holy Gurus, holy Masters, saints, holy archangels, holy angels, spiritual helpers and guides, we thank you for your priceless blessings. We especially invoke that through this session, through this medium, we all receive certain guidance that we are looking for, or the spirit of motivation, whatever that our soul needs. We thank you in full faith with lots of gratitude, respect, and love. We thank you. Atma Namaste.
Atma Namaste. Thank you so much for guiding invocation. It was so peaceful.
Your
Yeah.
group energy, I think what you've anchored here is like that. Even I was like, do I really want to come back?
Feel better. Okay. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome to this series of Passion to Profession. So today's host is like dynamic person. She's a healer, center, what do you say, manager or owner?
I take care. I'm consultant for centers.
And literally, Shivani ma'am is like celebrity in pranic healing. If you attend retreat, you're like, oh, everybody knows Shivani ma'am. She has a good online presence, by the way. Not kidding. Honestly, I connected with her online during COVID. She has organized so many sessions, and it was so helpful that point of time. So that's how I know her. And then we met in retreat. But anyways, let's not go there. Let's come to the healing session. Sorry, podcast session. So, ma'am, I wanted to know about you as a person. क्या बचपन में कैसे थे? Like you're a very extrovert person or introvert person?
That's a very interesting question, Chavi, because I have a very mixed answer to it. So if you'll see me with certain set of people, and most of the people who even vaguely know me, they think that I am an extrovert. And thanks to, well, our pranic healing practices, our Hatha yoga practices to be precise, I realized that a part of me is massively introvert. So where I'm comfortable, where I find my safe place, and among our group of Arhatic yogis, you'll find me absolutely like an extrovert. However, I there's a part of me which, is completely to myself. I am a very private person. I have very few close friends. My inner circle is really, really small. And yeah, so I think that's a sign of an introvert. So, there's a new term called ambivert. So I'm something like that.
Good. And how about your childhood? Like you are very service-oriented person or like entrepreneur person? You wanted to do
Hmm.
as a job or like a business person?
Oh, nice. Interesting question you asked that because it from childhood, मतलब बचपन में he around like I think I was in second or third standard where I was introduced to meditation by my brother. And that time, meditation meant listening to nature sounds. So, that was the era of, well, that will give away my age, but okay, cassettes. Many of the people here might not even know the cassettes, but so there's something called as cassettes, and usme meditation audios hote the, which was basically nature sounds. So I used to listen to those. So, unlike most children of my age who would not be into meditation, as a personal choice, I loved to meditate. I don't think so. I was an enterprising person before pranic healing. Very yin, very stressed, very stressed as a child also. But for me, being serious came very naturally. I used to give advice to elderly people also. Sometimes people were 10 years older to me and they would talk to me and I would be giving advice. So my temperament was a little different. Like I loved reading self-help books. I loved reading books which were about personal development. So from the beginning, thoda sa, I was a little off. Yeah.
And like who inspired you to spirituality? Was there external influence or it came naturally to you from childhood?
I think my brother was an influence. My elder brother, he's 7 years older to me. So he was the one who bought those cassettes in the first place. And he used to be like, listen to this, and your brain will become sharper and it'll help you in your studies. So one was that. And there was a part of me which was always a natural seeker. But back in the 90s, there was no such awareness. Though I was born in Mumbai, I was from Rajasthan, a place called Jodhpur. So not much, we were not a hotspot hub for spirituality. Spirituality meant going to temples, doing puja, हम पूजा कर रहे हैं घर में, rituals कर रहे हैं, हवन कर लिया, ये spirituality थी. But I was seeking for something. I remember clearly because when some of my friends introduced me to art of living, and that was in college. So they were like, Acha, heartbreaks, the best way to get into spirituality. Have a heartbreak, light enters, something like that. So my friends were like, you have to try this. I was like, okay, let me try it. So I feel, in the college days, that was my first guru. My first teacher was Sri Ravi Shankar ji. And I have great reverence for him because the concepts he brought were very different. He used to say God loves fun and things like that. And but wo kiya, and then I left it. I learned Reiki, I left it. There was nothing that kept me going, pursuing onto the spiritual path, so to speak, until I came across pranic healing. In fact, after I did basic also, I did not know pranic healing was my place. Like, this is where I want to be. And interestingly, my sister-in-law, a cousin sister-in-law, मुझे बोले कि ना साइलेंस कोर्स हो रहा है आश्रम में, श्री श्री के आश्रम में, बैंगलोर में ही है, तुम चलो. By then I'd moved to Bangalore for my work. And I was there, and fourth day, 4 days of silence was torture. And how? I remember clearly. You can write your questions on a paper and give to the instructor there. And many crayons, ma'am. So what was the point of all of this? I'm feeling more angry than I was before. It doesn't make sense. Like even the instructor read it out loud and he was laughing. But there's so much coming out, like the system was expelling in our terms, but there's no mechanism to deal with it. And you're not supposed to do anything. Anyways, I was very new to healing. But on the last day, it so happened someone in our group, they had menstrual cramps. And I said, hey, listen, I've learned this healing thing because on last day you're allowed to talk again. So I said, I've learned this healing thing. Would you like me to try this on you? And she said, yeah, sure, why not? And जितना याद था मुझे ये पता था some chakra you have to clean and energize. So I just did that in literally 5 minutes. And then I asked her, how are you feeling? So she's like, what did you do? Like in 30 plus years of my life, I've always had severe cramps and I would cry in pain, but I've never experienced not being in pain in in the first day of my cycles. And literally right there in another ashram, I decided, hey, wow, like all these days we were meditating. This was just for me, but what if somebody around me is unwell? What can I do for them? I know something where I can do something for others. And that was the switch. Like literally, it was like, 180-degree switch. And from there, I decided, yeah, okay, I want to do something where I'm meditating, but it's still meaningful because I was looking for something meaningful in my life. So that was a very interesting thing that, like course of events. And funnily, I don't know if you've heard this, Shriram has mentioned this a few times that, Master Chua has taken a retreat there. So when I heard it for the first time, I'm like, now that makes sense. Like the energy was already there. If somebody is ready, you can, you can go there. You can find your way in pranic healing if that's what is meant for your soul. So for me, that was the most inspiring moment. Like you asked about service, right? Because as a kid, I used to feel I should do some seva. कुछ तो करना चाहिए. But going to orphanage made me very sad. Or I didn't know how to come out of that depression after looking at people are having such a difficult time and feeling helpless कि मैं कुछ नहीं कर पा रही हूँ. So for me, I was like, oh my God, okay, यहाँ पे healing में I can do something for another person. I can do blessings and I can do rooting if I'm feeling very agitated after the meditations. It's such powerful tools. And this is all after basic. Arhatik, like I had no idea about Arhatik. So that was a powerful one moment that I can never forget in my life, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And if I take you back, like what made you come into the pranic healing? Like why you did basic pranic healing option?
Like I said, like I said, I was looking for something, and my husband shared this with me that when that time we had just met, and I used to take a lot of these corporate sessions in different IT companies, and now when you're traveling, you eat different kind of food, and I had a very, very bad health issue there. And that time we were just talking, and he used to be like, should I do your healing? And my old self, like angry young woman. I was like, what do you mean you're asking? Like, heal already, whatever this healing is. If it fixes me, I have to stand for 8 hours in front of a corporate crowd, mid-level, high-level managers. I better be, in my A game. So he healed me and I got better. I was fine the next day, no symptoms, nothing. So it's like, wow, this thing works. Whatever this is, maybe whether I get married to this guy or not, I will definitely explore whatever this healing thing is. So then moving forward, we got married. Uh, and still I did not join. But he had shared with me that before pranic healing, he used to fall sick a lot. A lot, meaning his father had kind of told him that, the way business is, even if you go 2 to 3 days in a week, you will sustain yourself and your family. But when he learned pranic healing, he learned Kriya Shakti, his life turned around completely. He got into an A League business school in India. Then he got into one of the most coveted jobs. So I was like, something here works that makes people even successful. And that was completely new. Something related to healing, something that's spiritual and meditation, and it's gotten somebody's success. So for me, it was very confusing. I remember he had picture of Master Chua. You've seen the one with the golden shawl, that ochre color shawl. Yeah, so he had that. So it was there in our house temple. So I used to stand in front of him and pray. I was like, please let me in your school. No, I also want to be, successful. Please let me. Like all I had to do was walk probably less than a kilometer away where we were staying earlier. The foundation was hardly a kilometer away. And I could have just joined the class. But for some reason, probably the time had not come. I did not go there. I used to just play in front of Master, like, you made his life so good. I want you to take me in. So that's how I understood, like I didn't know anything about it. One day he's like, why don't you go and, learn, explore if you wish to? Because I was a freelance corporate skills trainer. So I didn't have those at that time. I wasn't having so many projects. I was like, okay, let me try. So I literally walked in one day into the basic pranic healing workshop, and like they say, rest is history. So he was the one who kind of introduced me, my family members, about pranic healing, because before that I had no idea about pranic healing altogether. We are quite a secretive school. So
Agree.
yeah.
Thank you. And how about like when you realize it's your purpose and you should take it seriously other than that incidence of healing?
Ah, so yeah, after the basic, I in that year I completed up till Arhatik, like I think it must have happened with you also. And in fact, after I did my basic and soul, I signed up for a retreat which was going to happen in Bangalore. That time CRM and all was not there. So, so my friend called me and she said, she was a pranic healer. She's like, somebody is not going to come. You take the seat, you'll get a front row seat. I had no idea what do you mean by a front row seat and all those things. And I was excited. I signed up. She's like, and then after I signed up, paid, everything is done. She's like, by the way, for that you have to do Arhatik yoga. I'm like, what is this Arhatik yoga? You want me to do yoga? I like yoga, no problem. I'll do this. So, so that Nave. Uh, then after Arhatik was the retreat. Okay, so December Arhatik, January retreat in Bangalore. I clearly remember that moment. I entered into the hall. It was in Clark's Exotica Convention Center. And I entered, and the energy was so real. It was so alive. Nothing, I had not experienced anything like it. And I entered and I was like, oh my God, this is really what heaven on earth must feel like. Because the theme of the retreat was also heaven on earth. But the moment, like, there's a difference. The gate and you enter, and there was such a shift. But that also, I wouldn't say was the moment, but one of the videos Master Chua was giving Shaktipat. And by the way, for people who don't know me, many of my friends who know me, sensitivity is not my strongest suit. So feeling that was a big thing. In the classes, they tell my students also, how I scanned. I would look at the person next to me where their hand stopped, my hand would stop accordingly because I was too shy to tell I can't feel energy. And when he was giving Shaktipat, I literally felt energy move along my spine. And I was like, okay, this teacher is a real deal. I have to be here. This is the place. I I don't know what am I going to do here, but this is where I'm going to be. Like this is the final place. This is it. So yeah.
Like, how was your organizer and trainer journey? You became organizer first or trainer first and then organizer?
Ah, yeah, I became an organizer first. Becoming a trainer was never on my agenda. And I have a very twisted reason for that. So I did my ACPH just for the sake of it. In 2017, I joined ACPH and the Associate Certified Pranikis, for those of you who do not know. And I did not know it used to happen in India, by the way. So I'd gone for convention in Manila that year only. So to 17, the retreat happened. In 2017, they were going to have a convention in Manila. And they said they'll allow people to visit Master Choa's house. So I was like, I have to go, but how will I tell my husband to sponsor again? So I was like, okay, I'll pray. And I went there, and one of the things that happened, I met Master Glenn. And Master Glenn, for those of you who've met him, he's a very friendly person, very approachable. And for me, I was like, huh, Acharya, they are Acharyas in pranic healing world. For me, they're ordinary people, nice people, but like you and me. So I went and I spoke with him, and he had his book. I said, can I have your autograph on it? And can we take pictures? And then he handed over one thing which had ACPH, CPH information. I was like, oh, what is this, Master? He said, this is certification. If you want to become a good healer, this is the thing. I said, I want to become a good healer. So next thing I know, I signed up for the ACPH in US because I had no idea that it happens in India. I thought it's something that happens abroad only. And after I signed, it was 6 months that you had to finish. And it was big chunk. That time it was 500 USD. And I signed up for 3 months. I did not do anything. And then I realized I have only 3 months. I've already spent my own $500. So I have to do something. So in 3 months, I literally completed my certification. Yes. So that was, and then I got to know in India, there was an ACPH in Bangalore, it was going to happen. And I was meeting others who were reviewing and everything, and they were telling me, एक बार में तो होता ही नहीं है. And I was like, क्यों नहीं होता है? मैं करके दिखाऊंगी. My $500 are on stake. I will make sure it happens. So within 3 months, I had to finish my ACPH. Okay. So anyway, all that I did, why I was telling you about ACPH was because once you complete ACPH, there's a different pressure on you. Why don't you become a trainer? Right? And very sweet colleagues of mine, they asked, why don't you become a trainer? I said, no, I did not do ACPH because I wanted to be a trainer. I did ACPH because I wanted to be a good healer, and I'm very happy where I am. So they left me at it. And something happened in March of 2019 when I went to the ashram. I had heard that when you do Sharnagati lying down, it is more powerful. So if you know, in the ashram, there's that space where Master Cho had sat, no, earlier, that elevated platform. So I said, nobody was there. The program, whatever program I was there for, everybody had left. So the pyramid hall was to myself, and I did that. I did the Sharnagati lying down on the floor. And I told Master Cho, I don't know what I can contribute, but I wish to contribute to your work in whatever capacity you think I'm good for. Just let me know. So I was like, and that's it. And after 1 month or so, I called up a friend of mine who was doing ACPH in India at that time, of course, India one. And I told her, shall we organize a class? And she's like, sure, let's organize a class. We had no idea what organizing was. We had no idea what our work was. But I just then called up that other girl, the colleague who had asked me that, why don't you become a trainer? I called her. I said, you organize a lot of classes. Who do you think I should call? So she gave me one senior trainer's name. Why don't you call him? And actually, I was really blessed because he was so good, very, very warm, helpful person who kind of guided me into doing a very good work in organizing. So whether I had to organize a class for 4 people, 10 people, or 100 people using the framework he had given, I could have done anything very smoothly thanks to his hard work of 10, 20 years. So it's very blessed that that lady, she introduced me to him. And we organized a class in first class. We were like very stressed out. We were calling a senior instructor, and we somehow got 6 people. And then I told my friend, we have to do something, yeah. He's like, yeah, yeah, we'll do something. And we started, I started taking dates from organizers. Another class we'll organize, another class we'll organize. And we started organizing, and we had no idea where students will come from, because we are not doing actively that time too many healing camps or something. To the point that that colleague of mine, one day she called me and she's like, just keep me posted. No, we're going to have a class so that start calling up people to come for the classes. So she used to get really stressed about it, and I used to be like, "Arey, ho jayega. What is there? We'll do the energy work." And we did a lot of energy work that time. And the first ever ETOP program, which no, effective trainer organizer program, happened that time. And that era was of massive organizing. Every month we had 1 to 2 classes. We had the that year's biggest Achieving Oneness class that we had organized in Bangalore. It was group work, by the way, zero personal credit. That colleague of mine, she really helped. There were other trainers who contributed, but there were always these opportunities but I felt that what helped me at that point in time was strong energy work. I remember one of the instructors in ETOP had told, Blue Triangle is your best friend. BT is your BFF. So I just took it to heart. I was like, okay. So that's where I was an organizer for a good year, 1 good year. And then I was like, what should I do? Should I try being a trainer? Should I let it be enjoy as a organizer? But it's like if I have to take so much stress as an organizer, might as well be a trainer, because I had a background in training in corporate companies and I really loved it. Corporate training is something I still love. Like I love giving those sessions, soft skill sessions and all. So it's like maybe I did learn things there, so somewhere contribute here. And that's how we did. We had the trainer, TTC, the trainer program, and I joined, and well, COVID happened. So the year I finished my TTC, actually it was the year of 2020 with COVID and the massive lockdown happened. So, and that's when you said the programs that you were attending. So I think there is a part of me which is a hardcore organizer, but love teaching. So I think it's a good mix. I get to do both.
How did you balance your healing, organizing, and teaching? Because I noticed in beginning when you focus on organizing, automatically healing drops. I don't know with you. It happened with me in past.
Yeah, yeah,
Was
it
your
happens.
is what same?
There is no managing. There is a lot of mismanaging. Till you learn to handle the mismanagement, then it becomes managing. And think about it. How can it be easy? Because an organizer has to have a strong solar plexus, because you move people not through your ajna, but more through your solar plexus, right? Because you're to not in a negative way, but you appeal to them ki, why will this be useful for you? A healer's job is a heart oriented work. Okay. And a trainer's job is ajna, heart, everything. So it cannot be. If somebody says that it was an easy cakewalk, I find it a little hard to believe, because energetically it requires a different kind of energy. Yes, we all after some time learn to balance these, right? You learn how to balance your heart, your solar plexus, not become solar plexus during your healing or your classes and remain ajna and solar when you're trying to talk to people about classes and things like that. So it is not a very clean journey. I doubt it is meant to be like that. It has parts where it feels unclean or not messy, and that's part of growth. Like I embrace it as it is that, hey, why not? When we started writing, स्कूल में पहली बार जब पेंसिल पकड़ा था, स्ट्रेट लाइंस स्लैंटिंग लाइंस, एंड वो भी लाइंस ही नहीं दिखते थे, वो भी टेढ़े मेढ़े होते थे. कर्सिव राइटिंग केम मच लेटर. So that skill development happens over time, and the way our teacher is, he makes sure we work hard. He makes sure we develop, and our development cannot be clean and smooth, because so many people, by the way, you might not know this, many people told me I'm more of an organizer material. So I used to feel very disheartened कि अच्छा इसीलिए शायद स्टूडेंट्स नहीं आ रहे, you know. कोई बात नहीं. But I like to train, so you know, I pushed through those things because I would take it earlier to heart, like maybe yes, I'm not a trainer material and things like that, but I realize it's just a function of time, a lot of personal effort, and focusing on what is important. um, like we all have our bad days. I'm sure you have it. I'm sure all the healers and trainers, if any, they've experienced it. One thing we all do is go down on our knees, beg and pray to GMC. Or if you're like me, fight with GMC case. Why are you not doing this for me? This is your work. We do those things, and then at the end of the day we develop some part of ourselves which was needed for our personal growth, and then things start shifting. So I think everybody's journey will be so different. I know so many of you all, I think you had a good break as a trainer, if what I remember. You started off and I used to see, wow, this guy is really good. He always gets a big class. He's good, you know. But and it was inspiring. No, honestly, it was very inspiring because like you said, I knew you from just the sessions you used to attend. So everybody has such a different imprint, archetype as they call it. कुछ trainers, कुछ के लिए training easy होगी, कुछ के लिए organizing easy होगी, कुछ के लिए healing easy होगी, but doesn't mean we cannot be all of it. My personal experience is we can try.
Can you share a little bit about your self-doubt journey and when you felt like you may not be a good trainer or there was a setback? Like when you organize for other trainers, it's so easy. Like you think it happened. When you become
हाँ, exactly.
like, where are the students?
कहाँ से आ रहे हैं?
Happen
True.
with me as well. I will be very honest with you. When I
Uh-huh.
had to organize for others, I think it used to get happen. Like I don't have to use the will as well. But when I become a trainer, for me it was so as you said, it's like similar journey. It's so difficult, not difficult, but it's difficult to sell yourself honestly. Even this master Chopoxy course, but when you promote other people, it's so easy. But your trainer you have to teach, and it's your class.
Yeah.
So,
How
some
do you tell you? Come to my class.
still, I will not say I'm pro at it. I'm managing. So
Oh.
tell me about that journey of self-doubt where you felt, I may reconsider. Let's focus on organizing and healing rather than trainer. It's so much responsibility because now you become face.
Hmm.
I felt like a lot of responsibility after becoming a
Pressure.
trainer. Yeah, before healing, like nobody knows me. ACPH done, CPH done, silent work behind the scene. But when
Yeah.
you become trainer, there is a lot of responsibility. The way you look, the way you say things, you have to be very, very careful.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yes, it is a journey with a lot of doubts. I think I have cried more in after becoming a trainer than to complete my engineering. So if my parents are here, they'll vouch for it. How not only did I cry during my to clear my engineering. I would always score well, but because of the pressure, I would always cry also. So unfortunately, we didn't know pranic healing back then. So so the pressure would get onto me very easily, and I'll be very honest. There's nothing flowery about it. It's not to, and many people ask you and me, no, should we become a trainer? I don't know how to respond to it, right? I'm like, mane to ban jao, bilkul. I mean, like, why, if it's inspiring to you, why not? But like you said, I also was very particular about the quality. In fact, uh, because of in my after my engineering, when I was doing my job in a software company, my main role was my role that I was assigned was quality analysis. So what does a quality analyst do? He or she finds bugs in the software. The perfect software maybe hum bug dhoondte hain. So you it's like a fault finding, so overactive throat. So I already had a gift of that. So for me, I could see, Arey, why this trainer is so good, why this trainer is not good. And I used to get agitated if the trainer did not align with what the book was saying. So I was very particular with who I invited also for my classes. I respected only those trainers who were supremely aligned to what the manual was saying, what the book was saying. If they were going off, I just my solar plexus used to burst. Internally, it used to rile me up. Now I've improved. Now I'm like, it's okay. Not my circus, not my problem. But I used to be very, very judgy. And because of that, I was very judgmental of myself, and I put a lot of pressure on myself. But it helped me. I read Master Choi's books a lot. There was a point in time pre-COVID, you asked me which book, where this question, if you ask me where this would be, I would be able to answer. So I say pre-COVID, post-COVID, the brain fog and all those issues. But honestly, I was very, very, in fact, my CPH exam, which everybody is so scared of, I did, I was the one who topped in my foundation and everything. The reason was only this, that I had read the books so many times, but people don't know the reason why I read the books was not because I loved the books, because I was like, if somebody asks me, I have no scope of giving wrong information, because that's is not a mistake. That is acceptable to me as a, like you said, the representative of the guru. So I was very, very harsh on myself. And that's why, like I said, I cried a lot more. I would do a lot of twin hearts in those days, every day. Sometimes I would do twin hearts 2 to 3 times in a day. And sometimes when I'm doing the twin hearts, I would be crying. And when I would be crying, I used to, like, very mentally oriented side of me would think, like, now, is this gold even reaching the earth, or it's busy healing my own heart? I used to wonder, okay, what is happening? Maybe one only for the world, one to so that my heart can heal. If that is all, even the second one I'm crying, then third one I will do. No, this is strictly for the world. No part of me can cry in that. So the journey was intense, but would I take any part of it? The part of me which wants to be lazy and wants comfort, I would say, easily aa jata sab kuch. So that would have been great, which I've seen happen with certain trainers. But I guess every soul's journey is different. So, theek hai. Matlab, like that acceptance also came much later. That some people have done this before, and I am starting now. So my role requires me to learn this. Like you said, for me also, selling myself was the most difficult thing. And as an organizer, online or offline, I hardly ever sold the course. I always sold like, this trainer is good, go learn from the best, and you will be fine. Like, just learn from these people. So it was challenging, to the point then I realized that even every good salesman is about the product, and my product is Guruji's product. So then that internal shift happened. Kind of the rasic aspect a little bit helped. And one of the things, thanks to studying books of Holy Master DK, right? He talks a lot about purity of motive. So then I started asking myself, why am I doing what I am doing? That used to be one of the questions when I still did ask myself that. I want 10 students because I want to look like a productive instructor. Do I want 10 students to look good in front of people and people talk about me? Or do I want 10 students saying, this is Guruji's workshop and everybody should, get that energy, get that experience. So that purifying of the motive, time and again, however difficult it was, because there are a lot of blind spots that we all have. You can't see it, means you can't see it. It's in the dark for you. It's through certain insights. Sometimes it really helped me to at least align. And I used to always ask myself that if today, and it's a little dark, especially in COVID, I used to ask, if today I sleep and tomorrow I don't wake up, will I feel that I did my part well? And because I was doing a lot of service that time, I used to feel, yeah, my answer used to be yes. So I used to feel very satisfied. So I thought, now in teaching, I need to bring that. Even if I taught one student and I sleep like on a Sunday evening, not wake up on Monday, will I feel satisfied? I did my work well. So once that shift happened, a lot of inner healing happened, so to speak.
Wow. I don't know. I should go deeper or change the topic.
I leave it to your intuition.
Tell me
Uh,
more about how did like overcome this. Give some two, three steps if someone is going through this, who's in a self-doubt, maybe not sure, like Master Rami says in one of the session, if you can't be a good trainer, just be a good organizer. So how did you decide?
I never understand most of the things. Master Humi makes it sound so effortless. God bless her. But I'm like, Master Humi, how? So, yeah. So, what would help? I know for a fact one thing definitely helps is our daily arhatic practice. The arhatic practice is, if very busy, and I understand many people are, uh, I had made a pledge to myself in 2017, the same time when I had to complete my ACP, 3 months, 35K on stake. So uh, I started doing daily Sharnagati. And my idea was, if I am doing Sharnagati, my small boat is getting connected to the big boat called GMCKS, who's connected to his guru and God. They are anyways moving forward. They pull me forward through this. So the pledge was like, if every if you're doing brushing your teeth every day, no matter what happens in your life, you do that. The same thing you do to your Sharnagati practice. So it was non-negotiable. Ki whether it is one, whether it is three or seven, doesn't matter, but it was non-negotiable. So I think that was a very strong anchor for me and has always been. That has helped me through the most challenging times. So I think one is that arhatic practice and a lot of blue triangles. Lots of blue triangles.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Hmm. If I can cross interview you at this point in time, what are the three key things that helped you? So even everybody here would also know.
For me, honestly, I started focusing on something called as inner growth, and I asked myself what make me feel happy. Like I keep it so simple.
Nice.
What you see on Instagram is that is what I wanted to show. But there are
Hmm.
so many activities and so many things I do internally. Like I'm like nobody can make out my personality just by watching my Instagram and stuff like that.
Mm.
But I
Yeah, yeah.
started in because I became instructor and people wanted to know about me. That was the only reason I became like available and visible online. Otherwise,
Right.
as a healer, no visibility, online presence. So yes, Sharanagati helps. One of the reason is listen to the people who already walk the path. Like the reason I started this podcast is like you never know what insight you will get. Every trainer has something to share. And sometimes when you feel stuck, you feel, you're only one. So that was like self doubt.
Mm.
And that is like worst feeling where you feel you're the only one.
True.
Everybody's
Right.
going so smoothly. Look at
Yeah.
Isha ma'am, Vijay Khan ke sir, like classes.
Big classes, 30 plus people.
And like this is like entire year target, and like I used to struggle. So a lot of internal struggle, I will say. And then like in many of the books of Master Shah, it's very easy to conquer physical or visible obstacles, but difficult to conquer inner obstacles.
Right.
In the reflection really helps. I started reading and understanding about patterns, like
Mm.
psychology. That is like becoming my favorite subject.
Right.
Oh, I noticed there are so many people we are driven by sometimes anger, frustration, trauma, and it was happened with me as well in the past. I was driven by trauma. Somebody
Mm.
said something, they're like, "Yeah, I will do better than you."
I'll prove
Did
it.
Actually, wait, I just realized, I did ACPH, CPH within just 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Super fast, like trained
Yeah.
4 year, and
Lovely.
in retreat master Shaw says something called as immature souls need something or less pride. It's healthy for them for survival. Like I'm this, I'm this. But honestly, it's okay in the beginning, but sometimes you need bigger purpose. And for me, I think that's the love for the teacher and teaching.
Nice.
That shift happened. Now I am not driven on, I need to prove something because there are so many times you will compare yourself with others. So that was happening with me. I wanted to be best. And like I don't care about other people, how they feel about me. But many times I hurt people by doing this process. Now awareness is there. So for me, daily Sharanagati reflection, talk with the people, ask for help. Many times we take a lot of time to ask for help. It's okay. It's okay. Many times it's okay to ask for help. And there's so many helpful people. Like whoever I reach out to, like senior instructor, most of them like they will respond after some time,
But
but
they do.
they love to help other people because
Yeah.
they know our journey.
Yeah. They've gone, some of them have really been through it. They're real about it.
That's the
True.
thing. And
Yeah.
the reason, and one more thing I will say to the new audience, stop comparing yourself. Like best thing happened with me in the past is like nobody told me I can't do this. Like same with you, like ACPH, CPH is difficult. When you talk with people about this, so many time people say, it take a lot of time, stuff like that. Nobody told me how will I get my patience, stuff like that. Even I did ACPH from Master Glenn only.
Ah, okay.
So no idea what it happened in India. So again, I paid $450 or $500 for CPH, at 850 or $900. So it was huge money. So there was
Yeah.
no choice to give up.
Yeah.
It is like 3 months salary that time. So it was like big amount of money.
True.
Giving up was not choice.
Yeah.
Giving up was not choice. So it really helped me. And it also shows, how serious you are. It's like many time people say, I see for 10,000 also, they said even so super expensive and stuff like that. Like, oh, this is priceless.
Yeah. True, true,
I
true. That is
invested when I was student, said like, no, this is priceless.
true.
So
Right.
thank you. Let's come to you. We will have different session for my journey.
Role reversing.
Yeah, I have a very different story and many stories. Anyways, tell me about uh, like what mindset shifts like when you started your journey. Many times we think you can do this much, and when you see decade journey, you can do this much.
Mm-hmm.
So what's changed internally about goals, about mindset?
Oh, a lot, a lot. Like, I mean, there's so much internal shifts that I have done things after Arhatik and after actively becoming a part of doing service in whatever format. Not even just as organizer or instructor, but even as a healer. I feel like there's a constant way that I was improving. There was a constant way that I was transforming. So there is sometimes you're talking about a decade. I feel from last month to this month, December to April, there is a massive shift in me. The things that I'm doing, the work that I'm putting in is incredible. And I don't know about others, but for me, whatever formulas worked earlier would not work again. Somehow I have to find new formulas. So if Sharanagati was a thing that worked for me earlier, all of a sudden that's not showing the same results. So then I would reflect like, okay, what is this trying to teach me? What am I supposed to learn here? So because of that, the shift was really incredible. So I wouldn't say it's like a decade long thing, but like you said, we're coming on the internet. Like when I was organizing online sessions, I was so happy doing that. And I was very uncomfortable taking the online sessions. I remember one of my instructor friend, I loved her sessions. Got to know her through COVID online sessions, and I requested her to take a few sessions. And then again, when I requested her, she was busy in between. Again, when I requested, why don't you take this session on achieving one? She's like, why don't you take it? And I'm like, no, no, you're good at this. Why don't you only take this? And this is after I've become an instructor. So to come to accept that with whatever I know is still a lot more than somebody who's just joined in. There are people who have so many doubts. My whole grilling myself over these years to know what is from the book, what is in the book, what is being said, all that putting together for me, I wouldn't have been this person who'll easily say, you'll ask me, I'd like to invite you on a podcast. And I'll be like, no, it's okay, no, invite somebody else. And then, so that was a very big shift. And in person, see, when you're taking corporate trainings, it's very easy. You don't know these people. You will never meet these people again. You're taking a 5-day program or a 1-day program, doesn't matter. But that's it. After that, you're on your own, they're on their life. And they give you a nice feedback mostly and everything. Here, when you talk to somebody and talking to them in basic meaning, you will meet them when they become arhatic yogis. So it's you're signing up for a long-term relationship in a way, right? So it's a pressure, like how we cannot fake ourselves when you're meeting. So, being vulnerable was not something that came easy to me to say and accept that I cried. It was something I was never taught. I was taught that just say, you know, Guruji will take care of it. You'll hear more people say that. And I used to get a little frustrated when, when people would say, oh, I did this Sharnagati and this happened. I'm like, I did Sharnagati, I did Om Namo Rama Om, I did Om Mani Padme Hum, I did 10 blue triangles and still it did not happen. Why? So like you said, I had to learn. I can't compare. I can try their formulas. It may not work for me. So that whole journey of growth was incredibly powerful. Becoming my own person using the teachings. Like Master Dani keeps asking us this question, no? What is God to you now? And how is it different from 10 years ago? It really has changed. That shift I can see. What is the role of people getting uh, what are my expectations from people, from life, from teacher, from mentors, or from the seniors, from the acharyas, that all has dramatically shifted. And this is all thanks to practices. So yeah, it's not a decade only, but I think I sometimes feel in this last 1 decade, I've probably lived lifetimes altogether. It was so intense at times. So, yeah, it is that.
I agree with you. This makes and like how is your experience with the people who you have worked with, like teamwork? Was
Teamwork. So I was blessed to initially start with a good team. That we parted our ways. Then I realized, then I cried a lot, and then I felt miserable. I felt betrayed. Then I realized that's how world works. Welcome to reality. Just because it is Arhatic yoga doesn't mean people don't have their own personal choices. But it's real, like you said, you meet really good people. And I remember asking one time, was it Sri Ram? I think in ashram he was there. And I said, I really wish I had a mentor. And he said, very, how he can be very ajna and like he'll give it to you as is. So he said, you be your own mentor. Why do you need a mentor? And the first reply. So when Shriram shares his inner dialogue, I can resonate with it because even I talk like my inner dialogue also. I'm like, "Yeah, why would you had Master Cho as your mentor? Why would you think that somebody's what how miserable somebody's life would be without having a formal mentorship? It's easy to say be your own mentor, like so all those inner dialogues of fighting internally, arguing internally, all that happened. But I realized that if I work on myself, there are people who will give, they're people here, some of them are really rich with their experiences and rich in their skills. So when I have the opportunity to interact with them, some of them I'll interact more often, others lesser. But I get to learn from them what I need to learn. So from there, I extract what I need to extract and grow from there. That was also one of the big things of my learning. So when you ask about teamwork, it may be a temporary team, but our, my for me in my personal journey, it's more about how I'm contributing to the group. Rather than asking the group to work with me, if it happens, great. But if even if it doesn't happen, how do I continue to contribute? So, like, my understanding of group work is very different. We usually say group work is like, hey, let's all work together and make it happen. Ideal. If that doesn't happen, how do I contribute to the group of students who are healers? How do I contribute to a group of Arhatic yogis? How do I contribute to the group called family? So for me, that was a very different definition from how we normally perceive group work um, in the pranic healing terms. Having said that, I love having a cohesive team where things work very well, because I have my certain strengths, certain weaknesses. Of course, that's the ideal scenario. And I was really blessed to have that at one point in life. But even when it wasn't there, when I was feeling like, devastated that now how will I manage? You manage because your ultimate team is you, your higher soul, your guru, and then there is a full range of the teachers, their blessings. So you use that, even if you're thinking you're physically alone, but you're not alone. There is plenty of teamwork in the upper realms that are ready to help you. So at least for me, it's worked out like that because I was talking to certain people. We were laughing because that person likes to work alone. They've also been in the school for good 15 years or something, and they like to work by themselves. But they're put in positions where they're forced to work in teams. I love to work in teams, and I'm put in positions where I'm forced to work by myself. So that's a principle of paradox. And but the learning and the growth in that whole process has been incredible. So when you ask, right, like organizer or a trainer, I don't see it as different roles. It's like I can be all in one. And if I have other people uh, around me to help, great. If not, I am like, the CEO to the manager to the assistant, everything all in one. And one time I asked myself this, that imagine the time when we become an arhat and you tell your an arhat, a holy master is telling an arhat to do this, and you're like, oh, I need a team for this. I need this person to do this because I've never done this before. That would be like a blooper. So, like, I might actually learn it now because they're trying to tell me, hey, listen, there'll be times you'll have to be self-sufficient, work through it. Then there'll be times I'll send you people physical form also. Till then, you have my blessings to work on. So I've had a very non-conventional experiences in this.
How you as a person, like you personally love to do, like, because I also feel you're perfectionist. So for the people who are very perfect about certain things, delegation is not very easy. So you used to work alone by yourself because you want certain things in certain way, and some people not able to follow your instruction, or they're very easy to delegate. How was your journey?
Oh, I love delegating. In fact, I sometimes delegate to the point of I don't check that. One of my learning was that when you delegate, you check with people, have they actually completed? Because if somebody gives me the work, I'm very certain I'll finish it. Unless I forget, there is no chance that I will not finish it. So I used to assume that will be true for everybody. But that is not how it happens, apparently. So, so I would love to have people take care of few things, but so delegation is not a problem because I love comfort, and I more than perfectionist, my biggest problem was law of economy. This effort and this outcome. That used to be the biggest motive for me, motivational factor, and my biggest enemy also, because certain things will be inefficient, but you're required to still learn from it. So, you know, my problem was more about like, if she can do this so well or he can do it so well, why should I have to do this? Why should I reinvent it? Or why should I have to go and do this all over again? But then I learned again the same concept. I used to tell myself, see, you need to know everything. Because, uh, if somebody tells you, and Holy Master like GMCKS comes and tells you, hey, can you make, like somebody very recently, very sweetly asked me, who is the designer for your posters? Can you put us in touch with them? I said, yes, I am the designer for my posters. So they're like, oh, but you won't be available to work for another center. I said, no, I don't have that kind of bandwidth for my time. So, but you asked me who's the designer? I am the designer. So if GMCKS tomorrow tells somebody to, like to design a poster, you should be able to do it, right? You can't say, oh, my designer team will do it. So I do delegate. There were times when people were designing it for me, and then I accept it also. If I haven't given a best of the instructions, I'll give them, okay, this is what it should look like. This is what I want. You do this part. But even if they're not, I'm okay with errors. My only problem, the perfectionist part was where people would seemingly lie or not give me the full picture. Because that's when at the last moment when you come to know, things kind of like fall apart. So barring that, I consider that I'm good with delegating. If there is a group of us and where I feel somebody wants the attention of others, I am very happy to step back also. And like, you please take the work, but just do it properly. I don't have to be around to, you want to look good in front of Acharya, please take it. But just do the work properly and don't harass them. I'm very clear about that. I don't mind stepping back, but they should just, the only thing is do it properly. So, like any work, any company, anything, uh, we have to get out of that need. So my learning was, when you delegate, know that not everybody will do their part 100%. So just check. So yeah.
One more hard question, like, have you had fired somebody like from a team? You're unhappy with work and like See, we can't work together and bye bye.
Did I fire somebody? I don't recall firing anybody. I like retaining people, and that's my
Yeah, that's
terrible side of Ray too.
okay.
So, no, no, I don't think so. Fired. I would always, if the other person allows, I would love to talk and find out what went wrong whenever things cool down a little. I would prefer that. But sometimes what happens, again, our industry is really small. We're a very small set of people, and people tend to hold things against each other. So the conversation doesn't happen like an adult. So in a company, if a manager blasts its, team member, and the team member has a problem, they they will still talk to each other rather than just get
Reason.
lost. Yeah, I don't care. I walk away from you. And I think that is needed because that is true group work. You can't expect that today you and I know each other only that much. Great. Of course, a relationship will be great. But once we get to know each other, there will be things we don't like about each other. So my understanding is we talk about the difficult things. I'm okay to talk about difficult things. Uh, but I've realized not everybody comes from that mindset. So coming to firing, it's not the easiest thing. Uh, but I don't take in people also very easily. I will see. That's where I follow Master Choi's formula. Give them small things. If they do that well, then they can do. You can rely on them, and then keep checking every now and then. So I do that. Firing, thankfully, I didn't have to do till now.
Lovely. It's so good. Well, tell me one more thing. You already answered my second question. How do you hire people?
This is how
This-
I check. I check, yeah. And I am a very hyper alert person that ways. So, especially because you're working on something, one of those spiritual projects, it does require commitment. So if I see other person is not committing, then I just then withdraw in the sense that I'm like, okay, oh, no harm. I have nothing against you, but I withdraw. So then I start doing the work. I so it's we worked, we tried, it didn't work. If because I find there is a lapse in their level of commitment versus my level of commitment, that's okay. You do what works for you. I will find my way and do my work. So, yeah, I can't compromise on that bit, I guess.
Tell me one more thing, like, was there any situation or so easy to understand, but it took you so much time to decode that pattern, learn that lesson? Now, when you see, like, oh, it's so easy after cracking it, but when you're in that situation, it took a lot and lot of time. Like, if you remember such incidents,
Oh. I can't recall honestly anything such in particular. One of the things I think I'm still learning in layers is about letting go. When is it right to let go? When is it good to hold on, to work towards it? So that's, the serenity prayers. God, give me the wisdom to know what's important. So the difference between letting go and holding on. So that I think is a one of the things I'm still trying to decode. I haven't yet. One thing I think to certain degree that has been sort of revealed, you can say, is expectations from people. Uh, Earlier, I did some 7, 8 blue triangles to remove expectations from people because I was hurting so much because they didn't meet my expectations and so-called betrayed, quote unquote. When I did that, I became a cold person. So then I wouldn't let people come close. But then it seemed like there was something off in it, like it didn't match up. So what was a missing link? Then I realized you can just talk about it, communicate. This is what I expect, this is what I don't expect. But there will be things that you expect from people, and they might still fall short, and it is okay. So coming to terms with that, and especially like I worked really hard on removing any kind of my tendency to blame, complain. Because for me, earlier I used to be like, इसके कारण हुआ होगा, ये इसके कारण हुआ होगा, ये इसके कारण हुआ होगा, ये साइकिक अटैक के कारण होगा. To be like, अगर तुम प्राणिक हीलर नहीं होते तो तुम कैसे काम करते? Right? So one day, actually, like I was looking at my family members, extended family members, and it's like, they don't talk about psychic attacks. They don't talk about अगर business में loss हुआ है तो क्यों हुआ है, right? They just find out what is the problem and they try to fix it. They don't even ruminate about it. And I'm talking about some people who are very, very successful in business. So then I learned that just because of extra information from the teachings, I use it against myself than for myself. So, okay, good, Master Shah told us there are psychic attacks. You use it to remove it, not to think who is attacking. So that inner work of removing blame and complaint, that freed me a lot. So, like you said, don't compare yourself, don't even blame. Those were the key things which I always knew had to be done, but I did not know how to achieve it. So that's something I feel at a little peace at. Not 100% there, but little peace at, yes.
You said you had like very spiritual persona from beginning before pranic healing. How did you
Mm.
bring that entrepreneurship or balancing business aspect? Because when you are like when you talk with so many healers, they have difficulty in asking for money. Many
Mm.
times service is so much highly promoted in your school, everything with service. People do late night healings and they have no boundaries.
Yeah.
So for you, how was your journey to becoming a more practical, bring that business perspective and balance service with business?
Yeah, one of the biggest thing, and I had to learn it the hard way, was that even when you charge for your time, it is still service. That took me a lot of effort. Those 2 days for what a trainer gets paid is still peanuts for the kind of effort I've put in before and after and every day in between, even on those 2 days, or as a healer. The kind of effort I put in, even if I charge, it is it's still serving because I am going to help that person. So one was that. Second, a lot of inner awareness of what I can do and what I cannot do. So there's a phase that comes that you're mentally, emotionally tired, burnt out, because once sometimes it's super exciting, sometimes it's not, to do a lot of service, and especially on days when it's exciting, after some time it burns you out. So then my learning was that you need to learn how to put a break also, and it's okay. The part which I'm not fully able to overcome is the guilt of taking that, because a break can prolong. So then what you do to not feel like, if I used to earlier take every week a session for my basic students, something for advanced, something for psychotherapy. But then there were months where I couldn't. And that's when I realized being human is being a part of this journey, spiritual journey. You cannot remove the humanness of it, because it's very easy to say that when you're hurting or you're troubled, you're stressed out something, and just say, I am the soul. But not because it's bypassing that what you're feeling, why you're feeling it, and how you need to process it is your own personal unique way. For some people, processing may require talking to a friend. For some people, it may require retreating within. For each one, it will differ. And that part, I think, is a massive missing link in the school altogether. I see people haven't, most of the people, like you said, no, they're trauma driven, is because of lack of processing. So if we not bypass with only like I told you, right? Shanagati I did, I would do every day. And then that did not work at another point in time was because as in a way bypassing what I was feeling, the pain, the fear, and I did not want to process it. If I would try to remove it in the blue triangle, I will remove that energy, but after some time, nothing will come out because I haven't tried to study where is it coming from? What is the truest thing which is bothering me? So that was a very long uh, journey. It was a lot of challenge. So I guess that helps processing what you're feeling, why you're feeling in that situation, and not bypassing it, not dehumanizing it. Oh, you shouldn't feel angry. I mean, come on, God has given us solar plexus chakra, and we are not perfected beings. Anger is bound to be there. Master Chua got angry, Acharyas get angry. You and I are just starting on. So that personal self-compassion and exercising that is very crucial. Like, why did I get angry? Says, what made you angry? Ask that. If somebody asks me, now, why are you angry? I'm like, I can tell you a long list of things, but what is it exactly which is the cause of anger? If I think that, that'll at least probably, calm me down. So that one thing I think I really would tell people that if you're struggling with something, don't bypass it. Oh, I should be the soul. I shouldn't get angry. I shouldn't curse. Maybe you were a witch in last lifetime and you did curse your way out and got paid for it also. It's now a professional hazard, but that time that was making you money. Who knows? There's so many things to it, right? Uh, it's just that we have to understand we are humans first who are trying to become spiritual and spiritual beings trying to still have human experiences. How can you dehumanize what other person is feeling, especially for self?
What do you do like when you get bored or need a break from pranic?
What do I do? Off lately, I forced myself to watch series on Netflix. I don't. I did not like doing that because there's no end. You keep doing things back to back, back to back, back to back. But then I used that's why I used to remove, like I used to not sit on a series because if I would, then it would be difficult to get out of it. But then I loved doing art, but it requires a lot of mental preparation. So I realized quickest fix is go have a cup of coffee or have a nice meal with a friend. I love doing that. That is my favorite thing to do. Whether even if it is a pranic healing friend, and we will end up talking about pranic healing, which is kind of interesting.
It is blood.
Yeah, you cannot take the pranic healers out of us. We love to talk about it, even about the problems of the people in pranic healing. But I personally enjoy, like, going, spending time with some of the good people that are here. I love spending time with some of my cousins. Love to, yeah, watch series, especially the series which are the need of the hour. So if I want to become very throat oriented and become a little ajna, I'll watch something like Mentalist or or Suits. Makes you very ajna, na? You have to constantly go back and forth. So I would get immersed into that character.
Right.
But my favorites, I think the most relaxing thing is to travel. Uh, Even if it is pranic healing related travel, uh, I don't mind it, like one of our retreats or sessions or the boot camps that happen outside. I love it. I honestly don't feel the need to detox from pranic healing. I just think that I should, if I'm just more practical, it'll work out. Within here itself, if I could do that,
Yeah.
more than enough. Because I did try spending time with non-pranic healers. After some time, I would be like, it's nice, but can I go back home? After 2, 3 hours, like I would start missing. Then I would latch on to one of our these sessions, which one of our pranic healers are taking, where they share their insights, their learnings. So yeah. Yeah.
Lovely. Like it make a lot of sense. It's so true. Sometimes I said to my friends as well, sometimes you need bad experiences so you can value good ones.
And bad experiences will be there. It's
Yeah,
big deal.
it's
Like
process.
like Masachuan changed it from shit happens to dukha happens. So it happens. It happens. Yeah.
I noticed one thing in all senior instructors. I don't know what this happened internally. Suddenly, everybody started focusing on fitness. Suddenly, started talking about self-love. Like people are in decade. I don't know, like what happened. Like many people are doing it. Some are like showing up what they are doing. Some are doing internally. When you met them after 6 months, 1 year, you can notice.
Yeah.
So to name it, I notice Anuja, if you watch her status, a lot of self-love, self-love. Same with Vijay Kanke sir, Leena ma'am. Even with you, when you are sharing, this is like self-love talk. Like
Yeah, self-love is
process. This is like, psychology term, process anger. Just don't deny it. If you're feeling angry, yes, admit that I'm feeling angry. So
I'm
why
feeling
this is
angry. And
happening?
feeling angry, it is better than feeling vindictive and murderous.
Yeah.
I'm become a kinder person. Why is it happening? I don't know. I cannot speak for others, but I think uh, it's it's not an easy journey at the end of it. We are living in a social energy pool where we're doing everything like going against the river, right? So we are fishes also, the biggest of the fishes, go with the wave. And here we are going against the river is going like this. We are trying to go like this. And this is like what I heard one teacher say, this is tapas, this friction is tap. This heat from this friction is tap. When there is heat, there is wearing down, you will be forced to look within. Um, Part of my journey was this where, not now, long back in college, like I said, heartbreaks and all that, uh, where people would say things like, oh, have antidepressant pills and you'll be have to be on it for rest of your life at 18. I was told that, and I was like, what nonsense. I'm not gonna be having those pills just because I'm anxious. So I started running. I used to run in the evening, and in the morning I used to do yoga. So I used to manage this, right? So it helped because my understanding is we end up disembodying ourselves. We're so much all about out of body experience, meditation, feeling outside. It's so much bliss that we've forgotten what it is like being with ourselves. And of course, with the higher practices, if you don't exercise, you will become one slob like a potato. And that will be because no, the energy is so much in, like there is no choice. So, not out of just self-love as a psychology term, but I think it is forced to look within. I don't know if I put up self-love ka post, but I do love when people talk about psychology in practical terms. That is my favorite subject too, because you realize that how twisted our thinking is. The biases are so strong, the way we think, the mindsets are so fixed. So, how do you get out of those? That's where these third party views of talking to some or listening to some good psychologists when they talk about those things really help. I am not even close to self love, by the way. Uh,
It is.
and exercising in the form of self love is something I need to get back to.
I disagree with you.
No, no, I'm trying to work. And I remember it was so funny. There was a time I used to love running, and then I would, because of the higher practices, it would shoot up my BP. So if I would run, it would still make my megmin overactivated rather than fixing it. So I was like, okay, so I cannot do this. What should I do? Then, okay, go back to yoga. So, it's interesting how different circumstances ask for you to adapt. And I think if we adapt, if we are flexible with things that are happening, we can navigate through this tapas, like that teacher said, no, the friction of life.
Lovely. Honestly, just by doing this session, you can take a lot of session about self-love and like people will love it. You will kill it for sure. Based on whatever you learned so far. So anyways, it's your choice. I have two, three questions for you and then we can wrap up.
Mhm.
I wanted to know like what's your favorite book and why?
Favorite book? Actually, I have quite a few of them. My first favorite book before Pranic Healing was The Alchemist. S- Paulo Coelho is one of my favorite authors till date, no doubt, because he's mystical and very relatable. Then this book which Sriram had introduced through a study, Path with Heart. I think that book, Path with Heart, should be made a Bible for spiritual practitioners. Because see, Master Choa was a very Ray 1 teacher or a Ray 3. Yes, the love aspect was there, but for him, he could say, I am the soul. And then, he would, even if he's teary eyed, he would just smash through things. But that's not possible for a person like me. So then I realized that, sometimes that's where I learned most of these things in that study about Path with Heart, where says, you just be with yourself. This whole experiencing yourself in the body, then out of the body. And all those things really came from there. And so these two books, non-pranic healing books, which are my like hardcore favorite. But of course, I it would be really amiss if I say, I still love reading Origins book and Achieving Oneness book. Every now and then I have to open it to feel home. So that is like comfort. So those books of Masachua, those are of course something I draw a lot of inspiration from. But Alchemist, I think I would still like to read one more time someday when I have time to. Because it's very inspiring. You go back to your roots. And that's something like that happened, no? I learned pranic healing. I went somewhere else only to find out gold is here. And I don't know about others who've experienced and been tempted to go outside and explore, though it's kind of looked down upon. I tell people, please go ahead and do it because in Hindi they say na लौट के बुद्धू घर को आए. It happened so many times with me, not because I was looking for something outside in spirituality. I was just looking for counseling. बाद में पता चला अच्छा they are a spiritual school of their own, and they want me to like they asked me to stop doing twin hearts meditation, and I was like, everything is negotiable. This is not negotiable. ये तो मैं करूंगी. So I can stop what it. Then later I got to know, oh, they are a spiritual school, so they ask you not to practice. And it wasn't agreeing with me. So very respectfully, I would draw back. So when I explored, I realized there is so much gold here, but until sometimes you have to go a little far to find out what you have. So yeah.
And which is your favorite book of Master Cho specifically and why?
Oh, Origins book. It's about him. It's the only way I've found the deepest way to know about the teacher, his hard work, his sweat, blood, and everything that he gave so that we could benefit. So it really touches my core, like him losing his family life, him working hard. It's just, yeah, and hearing about him from different perspectives. I think Origins book is hands down my favorite.
Lovely. Okay, this is personal. Like, what advice you wanted to give it to me?
Give advice to you. Oh, I think you're doing brilliant work. What I really admire about your work is your feet are still on the ground, which is very important, very difficult because the work you're doing uh, easily could have taken that away. So for me, it's very heartening to see that even when I saw you execute the Goa Kriya Shakti and things that were happening, you were very grounded. And I admire people who can, while they're doing the work, stay grounded, stay, um, keep their feet on the ground, be in touch with reality, with people, and take care of people as their own. I I am different from you kind of a thing. When that is not there, I admire that in instructors, and I think you already have it. So maybe just continue doing that. More of that. It's very easy to be misled with the glitters in our world. So I guess, yeah.
Any favorite quotation of Master Shaw, like which you really like?
So many, no?
Yeah.
I keep reminding myself once the lesson has been learned, the problem goes away. So in the most difficult times, I'm like, lesson nahi सीखा है, इसलिए the problem is coming back. So what is the lesson? So one is that, and think for yourself. When he says, right, if there was, if people thought had the ability to think for themselves, there would be world peace. And every time I question that phrase, I see, huh, that is true. If these guys were thinking for themselves, not I was thinking for myself, using my own brain and not be swayed by the judgments, be my own the authentic self, I think that would just do it. So I think these two quotes are my favorite, but something that I use most often is when you learn your lesson, the problem goes away. So if the problem is not gone away, means you have not learned lesson.
Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, I'm done with questions, but I really wanted to know one more thing. Like, do you feel after Arati Yoga practice for a decade, you have balance, love, light, and power within you? Like, certainly.
I don't think so. Far from it. No. There were parts of my journey which was about developing power. Then there were parts of my journey which was about developing love. Then there were parts of my journey which were developing light. Master or become good at it or have balance? I don't think so. Whichever situation life demands that comes up, and sometimes it is challenging to have that ease of whatever balancing. So I don't think so. I'm in a very balanced way, but I know I'm better than what I was just few years ago also. So that certainty I have कि अच्छा हाँ improvement है और अच्छा खासा improvement. I'm happy with that. I'm content with that.
Honestly, like, this is the first podcast where I feel so comfortable. Your energy is so loving, so soothing.
Thank you.
It's like, that Elon Musk and Nikhil Kamath interview where I just laugh. So I can compare our conversation with that. Like,
Oh,
people
nice.
are
I should
asking, you
watch
just
that. Please
know.
share that link, then I'll watch that also. Then I'll know what you're
Laugh
talking
and laugh. Like, there is no question. They just see each other and they
and
just,
laugh.
because they know
That's the
it's
Shruti
like
session.
internal conversation and it happened with you. Before I ask another question, you already know the question kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
think
amazing.
telepathy. We'll call it telepathy. People will
It's
be like wowed about it.
a lot. Honestly, I enjoyed it a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you for so much for being vulnerable, talking about this experience, sharing it so openly without any filter. So I really, really appreciate, ma'am. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, Shabi. I am grateful you had me over. It was very sweet and kind of you to invite me. And yeah, I mean, this was really good experience. Like we asked in the invocation, if there's something in whatever the journey and it can help the people here, why not?
Sure.
That's, I guess, the purpose of this
Yeah.
podcast. So you're doing some really incredible work, and I wish and pray you continue to grow in what you're doing and be super successful in what you're doing. And yeah, we will see you and we see you in the retreats, I guess.
Okay. Can we take few question, or you prefer we close with invocation? So because and then we can
Yeah,
take
part
question.
time, no? If somebody has a question, something important, use that, then why not? Maybe one or two questions
Sure.
before
Please
we go.
virtually raise your hand those who wanted to ask something. We'll allow you
But
that.
just keep the questions short so that,
No
yeah,
questions. Very good.
like one person is here in the chat is asked how to know what your lesson is. If you're crying, you're troubled, you're in pain, you're hurting. Lessons are not like cakewalk. So, easiest way to know is that, I guess, or some problem coming over and over again, for sure. Repeated problem, like Chabis was talking about patterns, and we all have certain patterns. So there will be certain things that would be, those are the lessons. People are lessons. Challenges are lessons. So yeah, I think that's the only question I saw. But people awake, and I'm now seeing the chat. There's such loving messages. So I'm
Yeah, seriously, we'll take screenshot.
no, I know it was really sweet of people. So
Let's end with closing prayer. And anybody wanted to share their feedback, please share with us. You can connect with ma'am. I already shared Instagram ID with you, all of you. Thank you.
So, as we say the prayer, I will invoke also for the blessings for healing for everybody, since we have the opportunity. Even there were some people there before we've left, but we'll ask for the blessings for that collectively as one group. To the Supreme God, Divine Father, Mother, thank you for your priceless, priceless blessings. Thank you for this group, the Sangha, the divine light, love, goodwill, and the experiences that you've showered upon us. We're eternally grateful to you. Thank you that these blessings constantly flow to each of the people present here or who are watching it later. May they all be blessed, life be blessed abundantly, filled with God's wisdom, light, love, healing, lots and lots of love and healing, lots of joy. May we find joy even in our most challenging times, have ease and wisdom of navigating through them with grace, with serenity. Thank you for the blessings that we are constantly guided and protected along with our loved ones. Thank you for your presence in our lives. And above all, thank you for this wonderful teacher, the Guru we know as Grandmaster Chokoksu, without whom our life would have not been the same. Thank you, Master Chokoksu, for transforming us, for healing us, for helping us grow. This kind of growth has been only possible with your teachings, your blessings, and presence in our life. We are eternally grateful to you. To all the great ones, holy gurus, holy masters, and saints of all traditions, and to all the holy archangels and healing angels, we thank you for your priceless blessings and full faith. Everyone present here, Atma Namaste. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your beautiful comments. And thank you, Chabi. And all of you who've benefited from this session, please bless his center. And he's doing a lot of good work in Goa. And if you know anybody who wants to learn classes in Goa, you know who to contact. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Really, really grateful. We'll connect soon.
Yes. Thank you so much, Harry. Take care. Good night.
Bye. Good night. Thank you so much, everybody, for amazing feedback. I'm ending meeting in 2 minutes. If you want to share something, please type.